oh, we're gonna have a new system where PlayStation, the PlayStation Plus membership exclusive, pay $20 a month, and all of our old legacy games are accessible now via a downloadable service on the PlayStation 4 and 5. Then I'd be like, who cares if they're closing down the PlayStation 3 store? But they have no replacement lined up.
Snort. Yeah, but Phil,
So
you'd complain about not affording it.
Keep in mind, this is a rumor. Sony has not confirmed nor denied this yet. This is just a rumor that hit the internet today. If it's true, does that mean that maybe, do you think Sony does have something planned? Do you think that maybe, let's face it, we're heading into the time of year, all these big announcements, digital announcements are going to come out. There's no more E3, so it's going to be all digital announcements on the internet, right? Maybe Sony does have something planned, and they're going to be like, oh, guess what? Surprise. We actually are doing a new service with legacy titles and the like, and it's going to be available. I would love to play classic games on something other than my PlayStation 3, because, honestly, it's a pain in the ass to use my PlayStation 3. I have to use a special setup.
Nice snort.
Here that bypasses the HDCP copy protection on PlayStation 3, which they never enabled a way to disable it, like you can do on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, which is really stupid.
Uh-huh.
And it uses all this extra hardware to do it, and sometimes things go wrong. Sometimes an HDMI cable will fry. And sometimes, I've had issues with my PlayStation 3s over the years. It's very complicated to capture directly from a PlayStation 3. It just is. It always was. It was never an easy deal. So, if you're telling me, oh, this is good, you can now play all the...
There is a special adapter you can get, Phil.
I would be down for that. Absolutely. But still, I'd be pissed because you're still closing down the old store. So all those games over the years that I bought digitally, right? I remember, like I just said, the classic Crash Bandicoots, Final Fantasy VII, Dino Crisis, all the classic Resident Evils, the original versions of them, okay? Spyro the Dragon, among many others. There's been tons of PlayStation 2 games that I've played over the years and some PlayStation 1 games. I'm no longer going to have access to those at all. They're going to go away. And I will not be able to play them anymore. Unless I download them now, right? Like, I would have to buy... The good news is, I don't really have anything else on my PlayStation 3 hard drive. Like, I don't think I have any PlayStation 3 games anymore. So I could essentially just delete all those and just get PlayStation 1 and 2 games, and the PS3 will just be a legacy console for me to go back and play classics, right? So, yeah, let's talk about this. This is true. We don't know yet. This is true. It may be a situation where we just
you could just right emulate,
right? Death Proof Xbox is Resident Evil 1 through 3, Dino Crisis Siphon Filter, maybe
Phil,
Parasite Eve 1 and 2, Metal Gear Solid 1.
Go online.
I didn't think about that. Metal Gear Solid 1. Yeah.
And download something called...
That's the only way to play it right now.
EPSXE.
GameCube, right? And you can get the GameCube version, which is incredibly expensive to find. That's the only way to play the original Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah, Phil, you could just download something called EPSXE.
Well, it is what it is. That's what I mean. Like, this is very...
Which is free.
Big news, and it's very disheartening and annoying. That's terrible. That they would just get rid of a way to play the old games. Why would you not want to find a way to preserve your old games? right?
Yeah.
I
Oh.
want to remember the past.
Yeah.
And I
You
wanna
say,
still play those
oh, it's
classics.
illegal. No, it's
And
not.
it seems like Sony is just
Please.
not giving a shit. That's not good. All right. Anyway, I digress. There you go. We'll find out more as time progresses. We'll see if it's true or not. Okay? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for shout-outs. Let's give shout-outs to those who've contributed. We start off with Dark Maggot, who resubscribed for 53 months last night. Thank you, Dark Maggot, for the long-standing support. Timbo Slice cheered an hour ago. He said, will you try McDonald's in China? They're introducing something new. It's called a burger, but it's substitutes.
But yeah, that's right. Your 3K lemon PC won't run it.
Slathered in tomato meat sauce. That's disgusting. Can you imagine? Can you effing imagine what that's going to be like? First of all, nothing at McDonald's is fresh. Nothing. So you know these are going to be frozen meatballs that are going to be like fucking rocks that probably sat in a freezer for 6 to 8 months. Okay?
5 permabands.
It probably is going to come in like a vat, a giant vat or a bag with pieces of chunks of meat floating in it. Oh my god. It's probably going to be like a shitty tomato soup. They're just going to pour over rock hard cold meatballs and then throw it on a fucking heater. Here's your meatball sandwich, bro. The thing is, in America, they probably eat that shit right up. Seriously. People would probably go to McDonald's just to get that, just like all the other shit that they have there, and act like it's something good and authentic. That sounds absolutely disgusting to me. Okay? It does. It sounds absolutely nasty. So I guess it really depends on how they prepare it and everything. Someone just said, well, in Asian countries, usually McDonald's makes everything fresh. Now, I don't know how they operate. I don't know how they operate in other countries outside of the U.S. I know how they operate here. So I know if it comes here, it's going to be gross. Also, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't there a giant fiasco 10, 15 years ago where it was discovered that, not in America, but in other countries, they weren't using real meat in their burgers. It was mealworms. Right? Wasn't this discovered? And then they got this giant problem with it, and they got sued, and then they had to basically actually start using real beef.
Dude, just play the game.
Right? So I'm just saying. You know, I remember that. That was a giant story. Anyway. Never heard of it. Some people are saying it's a conspiracy. Some people are saying it's wrong. Some people are saying it's an urban legend.
5 permabands.
I've not noticed it's mealworms because it was ground up into paste and formed into a burger. If you take any kind of meat and grind it up and form it into a paste, like, it all looks the same, you know, especially if they're making it try to look like beef. But that's the point I'm making. Like, I don't think if they make these meatballs, I don't think it's going to be the same as their burgers. It'll be something different. It's like, what is it going to be made of? You can make meatballs out of a lot of different stuff. Chicken, pork, beef, veal, lamb. You can make meatballs out of a lot of different stuff. And I'm curious, like, what would the consistency of the meatball be? Would it even be any good? Would it end up being, like, all fucking breading? Because you can make it with bread, like breadcrumbs in them, too. Like, I don't know. The idea, if it wasn't McDonald's, and you told me someone else had this idea, I'd be like, okay, this could be appetizing. But the fact that it's McDonald's immediately makes me like, I don't know about this. So, all right. The first cheerer of the live stream was Phantasy Star PG, so let's get him up on the leaderboard here. He said, with the PlayStation 5 and Series X games easily hitting 60 frames per second or 4K with ray tracing, but there's still games that'll force a mode on the gamers. Like Ubisoft's recent titles like Watch Dogs Legion and Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where Legion only had 4K 30 frames with ray tracing because they wanted to show off London in the highest visual fidelity. But Valhalla was 60 frames before they added in a 4K mode. Since the new consoles are more like PCs, would it be a standard to let gamers pick what mode they want? Yes, I think absolutely gamers should be able to pick what they want. Because if the gamers have the choice, then ultimately it's up to the gamer to determine what's more important to them, and they can get the best experience out of the game. Maybe you're a gamer who absolutely wants 60 frames no matter what. You feel that it makes the game more playable, right? And you don't care about the ultimate visual fidelity. Then you can choose that. What if you're a gamer who absolutely is a videophile? You have a 4K television and you want to see all this crazy detail and shit, and you really care more about the cinematics of a game than the actual gameplay. Maybe you even play it at a lower difficulty, right?
Easy.
Then obviously you should have the option to do that. You shouldn't have games locked in at a certain resolution, a certain frame rate only. Like, I would have to say, this is the Bloodborne issue. You know, Bloodborne was locked at 30 frames on PlayStation 4, and now here we are. PlayStation 4 Pro comes out, still runs at 30 frames. PlayStation 5 comes out, still runs at 30 frames.
Maybe because you probably
Your
hated
console that could
Bloodborne.
definitely run it better, and it can't because they locked it at 30 frames. So you should have those options, in my opinion. Okay? That's my opinion. Okay. Fantasy Star PG cheered again. He said, my first comment only applies to single-player games, not online multiplayer games where 60 frames per second is needed. Right. Well, right. When you're playing a competitive game, you always want the highest frame rate. Some people may argue not, though. Some people who don't really care about being the highest competitive player might argue out the opposite, but I would say in a competitive game, you always want the most frames. So there you go. Roosh did 100 bit cheers. So good morning, Phil. Thank you, Roosh. You're the top cheer of the day. Let's get that up on the leaderboard. How many O's in his name? 4. And then S-H-H-H. Doesn't make it easy to spell. Thank you, Roosh. Jay Hawkward cheered. He says, don't forget $75 tips goals to put on slippers. No.
Makes it harder to spell.
Slippers is bullshit. Just because last night people were joking because they were wondering. There was a question. Someone asked me, do you wear socks all the time? And my answer was no. When I'm in the house, I actually usually don't wear socks, but I always wear socks when I'm outside of the house. Whenever I put my foot in a sneaker, I always wear a sock.
Nice snort.
The next question was, do you get warts all over your feet because you walk around without socks? And I was like, well, no. Number one, I'm indoors. Indoors, you're not going to get warts anyway. But also, I always wear slippers. I don't just walk barefoot around my house. I always wear slippers. So then people were freaking out. What slippers? Can we see the slippers? So I showed the slippers and people started freaking out. Oh, new slipper goal. Slipper tips goal. And I said, no. Absolutely not. Stupid. We're not doing a slipper tips goal. But people are always excited to find out the most little pointless pieces of information about my life. So they freaked out when they actually found out that I wear slippers. And one person, I think it was Jay Hawkward, actually said, oh, I actually own those slippers. Those were his slippers. So there you go. In reality, what he doesn't realize is that I stole the slippers from his house. I went to his house and stole them. And he hasn't realized, he hasn't gone to look for them yet, but they're not there. Okay. Steven Seagold cheered, and he said, you? I guess his cheer screwed up. Then he cheered again. He said, you should write a book based on your detractors, lies, and memes. I'd buy that shit in a heartbeat, like DSP's life based on them. The thing is, number one, I don't think enough people would care to
Alright, I'm back.
I'm just saying, I don't think enough people would care to buy a book about me. I'm not a popular guy in that way, okay? Even though I do have a dedicated fan base, it's not like I'd be selling thousands of copies of this thing. Just being honest, I don't think there's that many people who care that much. And especially those who've been here for the last 12 years, you know a lot of my life story already. I mean,
You have a dedicated fan base.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. Number two, if I were to make a book, immediately people would rip it.
Well, if you have a dedicated fan base,
don't buy it to support
Phil,
fuck him. Get this pirated version.
You wouldn't be like.
And number three, immediately people would be
the most hated gamer on the
tearing
internet.
It apart, posting up videos constantly about it. So there'd be no reason to buy the book. See what I'm saying? And in addition, I work so much, I stream so much, I don't really have time to do anything. Like, how would I find time to make this book exactly, right?
You have a day off.
I don't know. It would take away from my streaming for sure.
Just do it on your day off.
At this point in my life, I don't foresee that happening. Maybe in the future, if I become the longest running streamer, if I'm still streaming when I'm 50, 60 years old, and I'm the longest running streamer, and I'm still streaming and playing games and doing all kinds of stuff on stream, maybe then there'll be enough of a legacy that people will want to hear about my roots, right? And how I lasted so long. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. No one's gonna care. Okay. Who's Yuri Cheers? Can you play Pong? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Like, is there a way to play the original Pong game? I don't know. I'm sure you could play it on PC, but if I could go find my old Pong console, maybe. I don't know what happened to it. It was at my parents' house. Maybe it's still there in the attic somewhere. Roosh now did a 300-bit cheer and said NBA Street. So I guess he's recommending our legacy games to play on PlayStation 3. He's in the NBA Street. I never played NBA Street. I'm assuming it's street hoops, right? Like street basketball. Super Sly Gaming cheers. You can currently buy digital copy codes on Amazon for PlayStation 3 games. Do you think that they'll be getting rid of that? Yeah. I think what's going to happen, those codes will immediately lose all of their value. Just snap like this finger snap, and that's it. They're done. They got Thanos. Because if the store's closed, there's nowhere to enter the code. And that's what they're saying. They're going to close the store. There will be nowhere to enter digital codes. Those codes will be absolutely worthless.
Nice snort.
Yeah. If you can believe it. Local Nomad did a 200-bit cheers. Hello, Phil. Looking forward to some Ghosts and Goblins. Really hoping you can squeeze this game in more often. Maybe some night streams. Well, here's the thing. I would have played it twice this week. But people wanted me to try that Monster Hunter Rise demo. And we all know how that went. So now I should be able to play it more often. If you do the math, let's say I'm here 6 days a week. All right? That would mean...
Jeez, just play the game, Phil. Come on.
2 streams of Danganronpa, 1 to 2 streams of Divinity. Alright? But, I also like to play Call of Duty at least once a week as a major stream, you see? So, at least one game cannot be played twice. This week, that game ended up being Ghosts and Goblins. Okay? But, next week, maybe I'll play more Ghosts and Goblins. And it'll be a different game that doesn't get played twice, you see? Also, again, my schedule is different. You know, this week my day off is Thursday instead of Wednesday. You know, it used to be Tuesday. So every week is different. It's hard for me to figure out how many streams I'm even doing a week and then how many times to fit in certain games. It's getting more challenging, admittedly. All right? So, moving forward, I hear you. Some people are saying they really want to see me play more Ghosts and Goblins. So maybe next week, since this week I played Divinity twice, and I'll be playing Danganronpa twice. You see, maybe next week I'll try to alternate it. Okay? Alright. Snow Carl just cheered. And he says, I just wanted to say, I think Timbo's been doing a great job since you remodded him. He's trying to really hard to be nice and but fair. Well, there you go. I have not received a single complaint about Timbo Slice being a moderator since I remodded him. That's an achievement. It's tough to be a mod on my streams, trust me. Yeah, I have not had one person come to me and say that he's, you know, we're sad he's a mod, he's doing a bad job. No one. So that's a good thing. You know, Timbo used to moderate. A very long time ago, he was a moderator when I was streaming. Back before.
Oh, Timbo Slice isn't
you know, my job was to make YouTube
a mod anymore?
And streaming was kind of the side thing. It was just fan service. But obviously, I still needed people to moderate. So, the awesome thing is, he already had experience moderating, which was very different back then. And now he decided to come back. He says he has more time to do it now, and he wanted to moderate again. Someone just said, well, why was he demodded? Because he didn't have time. At that point in his life, he got too busy to do it. He had done it for a while, successfully, but he got too busy, and he decided of his own accord that he wanted to, you know, stop being a moderator for a time. But he continued to watch the streams. He was always a frequenter of the streams, right? And we're happy to have him back. So that's good. It's definitely a good thing. So, good job, Timbo. Snow Carl is resubscribed for 8 months. Says, wow, I'm so loyal. Thank you, Snow Carl, for 8-month resub. I appreciate that. Daryl Jensen says, why are you upset about Metal Gear Solid 1 not being accessible? You're never going to play it again. You shunned it whenever people asked you to play it. I've never shunned it at all. That's absolutely
pretty sure you have.
100% lies, 100% slander and defamation, and I'm
100% it's slander and defamation.
Very shortly, you're going to be slammed with many different injunctions for saying these kind of things publicly on my streams. So, just to forewarn you, you're in trouble, Buster. But anyway, no, I have no problem playing the game again. I only played it once.
Just like you shunned Code Vein and Astral Chain.
But again, if you want to see me play it, you have to take opportunity. When we
and you continue to do it?
There was no reason why I couldn't have played it for the Viewer's Choice event instead of Danganronpa V3. Did people
Same
nominate
thing
and
with
vote for it?
Untitled
Right?
Goose Game when DJ
Then you play, why
Runo
didn't you play it again?
gave you
Because you didn't nominate
$20
and
and
vote
you
for it.
scammed him for it
That's the whole
to use
point
for
of these
taxes.
events. That's the point of viewers' choice. Why didn't you nominate and vote for it? Right? Right? You couldn't stop a visual novel that only got like 50 votes? You couldn't stop it. It was too much of a formidable force to
So
stop.
every time you do viewer's
animated
choice, it
games.
always ends up being your own choice.
Oh no. It was too strong, right? No. It's because people, sadly, don't take advantage when these opportunities arise. It's very easy to get there and rally people and nominate and vote on a game. Only 50 people determining the fate of an entire playthrough? Yes. The truth of the matter is, over the next several months, I'll be playing Danganronpa V3. Hundreds of people will watch live. Thousands of people will watch on demand on YouTube.
Thousands of
All right?
people will
And that
watch.
was determined by 50 people.
A lot of people will
50
watch
people
live, and a
voted.
lot of
That's
people
it.
will watch on YouTube. Mm-hmm.
It could have been Metal Gear Solid 1. It could have been, really. But it had to, you have to take advantage of these situations. And some people just don't. And it's hilarious. Well, it's because it's on the forums. Damn straight it's on the forums. Because that way I can actually legitimately control it, and there's no trolling and there's no abuse. If I had
No
on
trolling, no
Twitter
abuse.
or Straw Poll or anywhere else, that motherfucking thing would have never been
Yeah.
legit. It would have been 100% fake votes coming in. And I have no way to tell. When I used to use Straw Poll, I would put up a Straw Poll at like 9 p.m., 10 p.m. All right? I would go to sleep. At 4:30 in the morning, 200 votes would come in within a minute. What a legit straw poll. Yeah, definitely gonna count that. So, that being said, that's the deal. And of course, people will make every excuse under the sun why not to nominate and vote on a game rather than just doing it because they're lazy. Well, that's your own fault then. If you wanted to see Metal Gear Solid 1 and you didn't nominate and vote for it for viewer's choice, you are lazy. It's your fault. So don't complain on my stream about it. You had the ability to make it happen, and you didn't. Trust me, there's enough people out there who like to troll me. They would have rallied to vote for Metal Gear Solid 1. It's not my fault. All right. Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
Lean and go squeak.
But Phil, you can go download EPSXE, download the BIOS, download the ROM, and play it that way.
When this room became a tax write-off for me, which was 2016? Either 2016 or 2017. I forget what year it became officially like a tax write-off. The way it works is, for a room to be a tax write-off, you have to only use it for work purposes. You cannot use it for anything else. So everything in this room, all my gaming equipment and hardware, the vests, the PCs, all the equipment, all just for gaming, right? So that's why. It has to have two separate rooms. Now, is my wife's room bigger than mine? I think they're identical. I think they're actually like identical rooms. The reason that this one ended up becoming my office was because of the placement of the internet. The way that the internet ran in the house, I was told that this is the room that's going to get the stronger internet or the better internet. The room, like her room, has no direct internet line. So there either would have had to have like a line going from outside, but I was even told if they did that, it would be splitting off of another line. So basically you'd be degrading the internet in this room by doing that. There's basically two rooms in my house where there's a direct internet line. One is in the living room and one's this room, and that's it. The other rooms are all like split offs of those main lines. So if I were to do that, it would degrade the signal. You see, if I were to stream from my bedroom, it'd actually be a weaker internet.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was told when I moved in here and they were setting everything up in my house for internet and stuff. So it had to be done like that. I wanted to have a direct line here and in the other room, and I was told it wouldn't work. I was told that I have to split the line, and that way then the internet in both rooms would be weaker. So, because trust me, I wanted to have the room set up differently. I wanted to have the internet on the other wall. I wanted to have this side of the room on the left-hand side be where the TV and everything was, and the right-hand side of the room would have been where the PC and everything was. And I was basically told, no, you would have to run internet line across the whole room because that's the wall where the internet comes in, and they couldn't change that. It would be weaker. So, So there you go. Anyway, so why?
Or get a Wi-Fi extender
because if we did, then this wouldn't be considered a business office
that has Ethernet ports on the back or on it.
Be able to do it for tax purposes. And as for how big is her room, like I said, I'm pretty sure both rooms are identical size. I'm pretty sure they're pretty identical. So, Snowcrawl Cheers, do you think people are scared of using forums because people are saying the mods threaten people using their logged IPs? No, that's their excuse. That's their excuse because they're pussies. They make shit up. They just don't want to go over there and nominate and vote on shit. They want to go to a website where they can abuse the voting and they get their way by cheating. In truth,
or better known as Phil's Choice.
Website you go to logs your IP. Any single website where there's a forum, where there's any kind of they have your IP address. This is not some.
But your forum does.
Any site you're on has your IP address. Seriously, yes, 100% yes, they can see your IP. So unless you're constantly browsing the internet on a VPN, everyone sees your IP. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard that you think that someone's going to use.
Why do you think people don't want to go on the King of Hate forums?
One of my forum moderators is going to see your IP address and they're going to pay money to have people fucking DDoS attack you. Boy, you're stupid. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my fucking life. Seriously, it is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my fucking life. That is utter stupidity. The moment that you step on anyone's website, you're giving out your personal identifier information, and there's nothing you can do about it. This is not anything exclusive to my site, guys. Okay. See, here we go. Someone just tipped $1.30. People don't want to make accounts on your forums. They'll get doxxed by trolls. It does not seem safe. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Here's what it is. There's reality, and then there's crazy.
Oh no, dude, the trolls.
And guess who follows crazy fucking conspiracies on a daily basis? The same fucking idiots who talk shit about me every day. They're that stupid. They
up 7 permabans.
They actually think that I have some kind of an elaborate service set up on my forums to gather IP addresses of trolls.
Because you do.
And use that information against
you actually do.
You have to be a moron. Seriously.
It's been proven.
Like, how dumb can you be? Again, every website you ever have logged into in your life has gotten your IP address. This is not rocket science. This is something that's a common thing, but you've somehow allowed idiots to sway you and think that it's something that it's not because you're gullible. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. You'd have to wake up and stop listening to everything you're told, because that's incredibly stupid, what I'm hearing.
All right, sure.
Steven Seagull just cheered and says,
sure,
I get a partial
Phil.
write-off from my bedroom because I work from home. It's sweet. I get $800 back from that. COVID tax savings have been amazing. Yeah, I honestly have absolutely no idea what the savings are. I just know that my tax guy does it. And, you know, he made it very clear when I started doing it, the criteria for doing it. You know, he made it very, very clear how it works. So, let's see here. So, okay, is this a legit tip or not? I have to check this out.
Of course. Yep. Here he goes again, yes. Doxing people on PayPal.
Now, obviously, I'm not going to put this name on my leaderboard, but someone going by the name of Piccolo's Huge Green Schlong just hit me $9.99. So...
Oh, can't put that on the leaderboard, dude.
Abbreviate, I'll say Piccolo's D. That makes more sense for my leaderboard here. Okay.
It's still the same thing.
Oh my god, I can't stop burping. It's disgusting.
Nice burps.
He says, did the military try to recruit you when you were younger? Yes, I've told this story many times. I'm not going to tell the whole story on pre-stream because we're running late here. I want to end it. I went, when I was graduating from high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I went to a military recruiter's office. I believe it was Army. And the guy interviewed me, and after looking at all my qualifications, said that I would be officer material. And the guy, I mean, he was a nice guy, but he was also very cocky. Very cocky. And he came off to me like a guy who thought that his shit didn't stink and he was better than everyone else. And he was like, After basically outlining the whole thing about officers program and everything, he says, "Oh, and I know you'll be back. So have a good day and I'll see you soon." And when he said that to me, like back then, that kind of shit always rubbed me the wrong way. That kind of stuff pissed me off because it's like, who are you to tell me what I'm going to do or my decision or what's best for me? Like, I'm going to make this decision based on my own thought pattern. And when just the guy coming off as a cocky asshole, you know, actually turned me off from ever wanting to go back there, and I never did. And that's
good
it in
lord.
a nutshell. That's the short version of the story. Uzi Go Hard cheers, a businessman first, farm scorcher second. All right, there you go. So shout out to the top cheers of the week. This just started the week, by the way. So shout out to Uzi Go Hard.
Oh, I've been approached by
Gaming, Jayhawk,
who are trying to recruit people.
PG are tied for fourth.
They were not even they were not assholes at all.
For cheering this week. So far, we have no gifted subs. Let's take a break, everyone. I got to use the restroom. So take a break, grab a drink or a snack, use the restroom yourself, whatever you like to do.
WWE Champions.
The continuation of Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. I'm excited. Hopefully I can beat a stage today or at least get to a checkpoint. I'll see you guys in a few.
WWE Champions.
The rain is very heavy.
Yeah, we'll put it at 34% for right now. Yeah. God, his take on emulation is so bad. It's so bad. Like, dude, you can just download get EPSX and get the ROM. And not to mention, like, his take... No, man. I'm like, no, you should be able to capture... It's easy to capture PS3. You, with Elgato. So yeah, Phil, you're obviously the wrong one on that. Yeah, Phil's on break. If anybody's just joining, yeah, Phil's on break right now. But yeah, he's had yeah, that take on emulation though. Yeah, that is a really terrible take. Like, yeah, oh, Phil, come on. That is a really horrible take. On emulation completely. Yeah, yeah, probably play some Genshin or something. Well, he's on break. I don't know. There we go. Oh yeah, and speaking of Genshin Impact, yeah. Here's what Phil could have done. Phil could have literally used those weapons to enhance the ones he already has. But no. Phil doesn't want to do that. Here, look. This is what Phil could have done. He could have enhanced his weapons. Made them actually useful. Well, better. But no. He chooses not to. Because he just wants to be handheld. Wait, is he back? Oh, okay, I thought he was back.
Isn't that Jean? Seems she's talking.
Yeah.
Let's let her finish, then go say hi.
Which is what has brought us to this point in the first place. If you are unable to promptly deal with the Storm Terror threat, then leave the defense of Mondstadt to the Fatui. We can put an end to Mondstadt's dragon issues. All we need to do is bring that monster to the...
Monster?
Yes. What's your point?
I'd expect a more professional attitude from your diplomats. Yet here you are saying you want to put an end to one of the four winds of Mondstadt?
Yeah, sorry for not talking as much. I'm trying to eat.
It's not as crazy as you make it sound. Fine. That's enough negotiation for today. At this stage, it's simply an amicable exchange of constructive opinions, no? I'll be sure to make thorough notes.
Oh, you're back. Thanks for your help. The elemental flow is finally stable. The aftermath of Storm Terror's last attack is finally settled for the moment.
Yeah.
However, the pressure from the delegation has become too big to be ignored.
Delegation?
I bet you he's tweeted something.
From Liyue Harbor or Inazuma City?
Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's 12:19 right now. Let's see. No new tweets yet. Jeez, it's like, damn, it's almost half an hour. Jeez.
Follow the god of cryo.
Come on, Phil. Stop playing WWE Champions. Play the game.
Their envoys go by a particular name.